All right, doing a postseason eval here with Lacey. What I like to look for after a season is imbalances. So let's see if we can find any. So check in dorsiflexion, and that's 20, which is really good. I'm seeing 15 over here. So 15. So if I find an imbalance, I like to go back and double check. And yeah, I'm seeing about 5 more out of the drive leg. So think about it, this is the leg you are gonna sit in flexion longer than this leg. This leg is gonna be wanting to be more in plantar flexion, this will be more in dorsiflexion. That's a common imbalance just from a long season. He's had a long season, but you said 90 something, maybe 100 innings.
Yeah, close to 100 innings.
Hip internal, external, 35, external, 35, 55. So let's see if he's got any imbalances. 40, 50. So you can see a loss here, which is common because of the drive hip. Just the wear and tear, because that's what's powering pelvis rotation. And 100 innings, you get a little thickening of that capsule. So that could be a little bit's going on, not dramatic. There's nothing to really be concerned about. And let's see flexion, 95, that's really good. Right side, left. And this side's usually better because this is the landing leg side, 105. So you can see if he had been here for 4 months doing a lot of strength and conditioning work, you wouldn't see this much change or this much imbalance. He's a very mobile guy at his size, which is awesome. The goal is to just restore a lot of this balance. It's not that we need to lose range. Ideally, we want to gain range, but he'll probably lose range in that landing side because that's from all those pitches of hitting front side really hard and letting his trunk get out. He needs all that flexion. He's probably going to lose some of that in his off-season training, but it won't be bad. He'll probably get back to, he'll get down to 95, and then it'll balance out. The reason that's happening, he's adding mass and he's strengthening that capsule up again. Let's do shoulder. So obviously, you always see imbalances with the shoulder because the stress of throwing is pretty dramatic on the body, but let's see where it is right now. So let's go internal, and we're gonna pair this arm to that arm where we look for imbalance. So we got 75 internal, which is good. So we know his arm is healthy. He has a lot of room to decelerate. External is 140, which is, that's Steven has a lot of. Let's see the differences over here. You're gonna naturally see a difference. There's one area where it's hard to keep out. Okay, so if we look over here, 80 internal. So that's what typically you find is you have more internal here because the gaining of external typically takes away your internal range. You just don't want it to take away too much, then you could have GERD. Okay, so here he is at 130. So you have about a 10 loss here and about a 5 or a 10 gain here. So it's the same range of motion on both sides, just in a different plane of degrees. So it's healthy, but you're gonna see as he gets away from all that aggressive competitive throwing, that external range could shorten and his internal range could pick up. It will ultimately shift back more towards the non-throwing arm. All right, on your stomach. All right, so we're gonna look at hip extension, which you think on a guy like Lacey, this is thick and powerful as his lower half is, he actually has a good range here. But the imbalance would ultimately be in this right side. So I'm expecting seeing an imbalance in hip extension on the right side because that's from all that pelvis, driving that pelvis through the season. And extending that hip to open his pelvis, it starts to really wear down that hip flexor. So let's see what happens. Bend the knee, drive it up. Okay. Try to keep the head down as much as you can. Good. Okay. So it's still really good. You know, it's 30, which is elite, 25. So that's a good sign. Where I saw a loss of internal rotation on the right hip, then I was worried about that capsule tightening up from all that wear and tear. But he has more range, 5 degrees more range in hip extension on that side. Once again, that imbalance is from throwing, but that's a good imbalance. That's a gain. Like that's not a loss of range of motion, which would mean that there could be some damage in there. That's just from the joint being constantly put in that position more on that side than the other side due to the pelvis rotation. But at the same time too, going back into training is going to balance all that out. But that's a healthy range typically from a long season. Let's look at trunk extension. So hands to your side. Pick your chest up as high as you can. Okay. So 50 on trunk extension. All right, sit on the edge. This is what Steven's known for, is scapular retraction or horizontal abduction. So let's go both arms up. Pinch as far as you can. Okay. He has a high amount of this, and with the big chest, which is like, how can you have a big chest and pull your elbows so far back? It's a lot of genetics here. 45, 45. So balance there, that was really good. Because that's something I get concerned with him. He has so much horizontal adduction, and if he gets caught dragging, then that front of that cuff starts getting yanked on, and then you got maybe too much range, or you get a lot of posterior thickening from a lot of wear and tear, and then you lose range. Either way, you see an imbalance. We didn't see an imbalance. That's really good. I think the one we can do is trunk rotation. Let's just do it right here, where you grab this pole over here, and we'll see how your trunk rotates. Okay, another range he's very good at. Okay, so he's going to go all the way right, and I'm just going to try to figure out the rotation, and then I'm looking at the shoulders to where the shoulders started. So 80 on the right, let's go to the left. Okay, then I'm seeing 85, 85. So 85, 85, another one really great that he's got, maintains that balance, because all that turning to the right, it's very easy to get more right side mobile and you lose, and the left side stays tight. And then that's hard on the back. But so to keep that balance there, I think this is all great signs of why he stayed healthy for such a long season from January to September, is he maintained decent enough balances in all these ranges. We saw the imbalances, which I was expecting, but they weren't. The only one that was maybe concerning was that right hip internal. All the other ones were normal, and they were positive for based the movements he was doing. And the areas where typically you more than likely find guys due to wear and tear and bad positions, he wasn't, which is more than likely a testament to him being healthy.